So you know how for a while I've been saying if you guys have got any movies that you want me to review, to let me know and I'll review them? I'm kind of regretting my choice now, because a friend of mine recently recommended to me that I watch a movie called Turbo Kid. Now, I'd never heard of Turbo Kid before, and I looked it up and it sounded pretty terrible. Turbo Kid is a movie that's currently screening on Netflix in the US at the moment. It was directed by I Really Don't Care, and it stars Who Gives a Crap and Michael Ironside. I don't know why he was in this movie. Michael Ironside, Starship Troopers, Total Recall, Top Gun. I mean, the movie is about a kid who is just called The Kid. Wow. And it's set in an alternate 1997 where there's been a nuclear holocaust that happened in the 80s at some point, because everyone's stuck in the 80s. This whole movie, like even the opening titles were done like a 80s kind of movie and stuff. So he's a scavenger and he's obsessed with this comic book character named Turbo Rider who looks really lame. Anyway, so he's obsessed with this comic book character. He's a scavenger. He meets up with this girl who is a total Fruit Loop, whose name is Apple. But that's kind of, you find out why her name is Apple later. I guess that was kind of clever. Then there's a bad guy who's Michael Ironside, and he's a bad guy who has discovered a way to make water out of people by mulching people in a machine, and it extracts water from the blood and the brains and stuff. So you got the kid and the bad guy, and then the kid just happens to come across the real Turbo Rider, and he's like a skeleton now, but the kid steals his suit and stuff and becomes Turbo Rider, and the kid just, stumbles upon this guy and is just like, Turbo Rider. Put it this way, if I fell into the Batcave and Batman was there like all decomposed and stuff, I wouldn't just be like, Batman's real, and steal his stuff. I'd steal his stuff. I'd be a little bit more like, oh my god, this is real? This is Batman, oh my god! So anyway, he steals Turbo Rider's stuff and he becomes Turbo Rider and fights the bad guy, and who cares? So for starters, the movie just looks terrible. It had no production value whatsoever to it. All the costumes and everything just look really cheap. The special effects, I could probably do just as good a job on my computer at home. The script was just abominable. There were so many things that just happened out of convenience. It was really lazy writing. Aside from the kid finding the real Turbo Rider and stealing his stuff or whatever, you had a scene where our heroes are in this kind of like a gladiator match against the main bad guy's henchmen or whatever, and spoiler alert, they win. And then they're like, okay, we got to get out of here. Let's split up. Now, the main bad guy and all his main lackeys are still there, like, overseeing everything. But then the next shot, it cuts to the kid and the girl and everything just, like, escaping outside on bikes. And it's like, well, how did you get there? What happened? Fill in the blanks here, guys. Come on. It was such a lazy script. Another thing, this movie didn't know whether it wanted to be a kid's movie or a movie for grown-ups. It looked like a kid's movie, and when you sort of think about the plot and the characters, like it seemed like a kid's movie, but my god, it was like Evil Dead level of gory. And really over-the-top gore. I'm talking absolute buckets of blood. I'm talking bodies getting sliced up limb for limb and thrown around. There was a fight scene where a dude got a shovel in the stomach, and the shovel came down, his torso went flying in the air and landed on someone's head. And then the lower part ended up on top of someone's head as well, with the legs up in the air. And then later, towards the end of the fight, there was someone who had the torso on their head that had a torso on its head and the legs on top of that, if you can imagine that. That really gives you an indication of what this movie was like. Oh my god. Oh my god. The cinematography was just really ordinary. The camera work was terrible. There was one shot where the camera actually sort of moved slightly when it shouldn't. It was supposed to be just stuck on someone. It was like, eh. Yeah, well, good job, guys. The score was terrible. It was just kind of 80s electro pop and really inappropriate at times. I mean, there was one fight scene where it was sort of, like Duran Duran or something. And it was like, yeah, that doesn't work for me or anyone. Now, here's the thing. I am a really big lover of bad movies. I mean, movies that are so bad they're awesome. One of my best friends is a guy named Steve, and we've had marathons of really, really crap movies. One of our favorite things is to go into dollar stores and, buy DVDs for $2 just because they look absolutely terrible. I mean, I've got a huge collection of these things. And I generally find movies with kid in the title can go either way. I mean, you can go this way, which is good, or you can go this way, or this way, the way of Magic Kid 1 and 2. So that being said, I was looking at this movie and thinking to myself, now, is this the kind of thing that is really awesome in its badness? I was watching it by myself, and to be honest, it didn't really do a lot for me. I was kind of. There were parts where I was literally, my jaw was wide open. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. And a lot of times, though, I did imagine, if I had been watching it with Steve, we'd probably be ripping it apart and having a great time watching it. So one of these days, I'm probably going to watch it again with him and actually find out what it's like, watching it with somebody. Because I think it might be pretty funny. I'm just not 100% sure at this point. So, on one hand, I kind of... it just has nothing going for it. It's so bad. There's not one redeeming quality about this flick at all. Ordinarily, I'd probably give it a 0, but at this rate, yeah, look, it might be fun watching it with someone. So look, I'm going to award, what was it called again? I'm going to award Turbo Kid a 1 out of 10. So a big thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to my channel, up to 88 now, almost up to 100. And just in case you weren't aware, once I get to 100, I'm going to be giving somebody this. Woohoo! Yep, I'm going to be giving away a Blu-ray copy of The Force Awakens to one random subscriber once I hit 100. And I'm kind of hoping to do that maybe before episode 8 comes out, because at the rate I'm going, that's probably going to happen before I give away episode 7. It's going to be a collector's item. Anyway, like I said, thank you very much. So click subscribe and stay tuned for more movie reviews, hopefully better than this one. Oh man. It's moments like this that I'm sort of regretting starting to do movie reviews on YouTube now, because I'm even going to have to see Ghostbusters when that comes out. So drop me some comments, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. See you next time.
Hey you there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Click subscribe. You see the big word up the top that says subscribe? Well, click on it. Click on it now. Do it. Yeah.